playing a game today called the Game of Life with my kids. They had to actually teach me the rules, and it was kind of funny. You got a career, you got the college route, and then you get a better career, or you got just a straight out of high school go the career route. You got to take these turns, and the ultimate end goal is to get to retirement. And it kind of brought me to the thought that the game has changed. I don't know when they made that game, but it's not the same game anymore. You know, my parents, maybe my grandparents, your grandparents, they came up in an era where America made everything for the world. They actually had job security, whatever that is. They actually worked for the same company for 30 years, and after 30 years, they got a residual income called a pension, and the company retired them. They didn't have to have financial literacy. They didn't have to have financial education. All they had to have was work ethic and loyalty, and they would work for the same company, and then they would get taken care of. But the games have changed. As a matter of fact, what the company started to do is they huddled up and they realized this is costing us a lot of money to retire everybody. How do we get ourselves out of here? So what they did was they phased out pensions and they phased in defined contribution plans, which are like the 401k, the 403b, things of that nature. And so now a financial education and financial literacy is required to be able to navigate yourself to retirement. What they do is they give you a 1-800 number and they give us the illusion that they're providing our retirement, but they say, hey, figure it out on your own, put your own money into there. You'll be lucky if we give you a match. Matter of fact, you're lucky you still got a job. And so we still adapt the same concepts. If we look outside now, job security doesn't exist. You know, we don't leave jobs necessarily. Jobs leave us, and they do it at the worst times possible. So if we can't trust a job for our income, why would we trust our long-term financial planning needs for the same corporation? Companies don't have long-term plans for employees. Let's be honest. If they can replace us with artificial intelligence, if they can replace us with the robot, if they can replace us with the machine, they will do so. They don't need, machines don't need maternity leave. They don't need coffee breaks. They don't need health insurance. How much more profitable is it? So there are no long-term plans for employees. So my question is, why do we have long-term plans for our corporation? If we obviously can't trust them with our income, then why would we give them our retirement and our life insurance and our family's financial planning needs and expect to trust them with our outcome?
And he's been in the trenches with us from day one. And I think he's just such a great example of a person that runs a well-rounded business and is a great family man and has just balance in all wonderful areas of his life, his faith, his family, his business, and his fitness, right? He's out there getting healthy and running and doing so many things. One of the things that inspires me about him is that he and his wife and his family, we shared an office for many years, by the way, and he moved to Colorado, found their dream home and their dream life. And he's selling me the dream every single day with what this company and this opportunity has done for him. And so without further ado, I want to introduce to you our friend. He's still our mentor, our number one mentor, right? And our business coach as well. He still remains that to us. And we love him so dearly. So thank you for your time in doing this for us, Rudy. And we love you.
You're absolutely welcome. And thank you so much for having me. I wouldn't miss this for the life of me. And what an incredible opening we've had so far. Just getting a chance to hear from Mr. Barron with his wisdom. Him and his wife, Kirsten, are doing some great things. We had a chance to hear from Anthony Lennon, right? Mr. Anthony Lennon, right? Imagine all the people. That was incredible, Anthony. That was a great insight to where you are today. And I really appreciate that about you, where you've been and where you've come from and where you are today. You know, your conviction and your passion about just wanting bigger things. And that's what imagination is all about. And we had a chance to hear from Omar Perry, and he's mentored a lot of us. You know, we used to call him the $100 million man. He's worth a lot more than that now. So that's pretty cool. And if he's going to give you a free book, I would invite you all to take advantage, read the book, spend a few minutes reading a book. But all of this really started with, Jen and Dave, the Baileys, and they are such an incredible couple. I remember when I first met, Dave, and I remember when I first met Jen, and we started more of our business relationship and how they've really progressed in the business. Jen used to work in human resource, and, she had a set of, beliefs and a set of behaviors, and she really had to change them to become this powerful, woman entrepreneur that she is now. And she was willing, she was open to doing that. And she just changed a lot of her habits, and her life changed tremendously. And it changed for the better. But guess what? Dave and Jen became such strong figures as human beings. And they've been faced this past year with a lot of challenges. They really have been. And you can see, the true strength of a person by how they deal with adversity. And they're just incredible because they know how to plow through adversity. They know how to raise a family, which is incredible, how to keep their faith in place, how to build a business. And I'll just piggyback on what Lester said. The people that invited you here today, we want you to see them as the people that, number one, it could be an answer to a lot of things that you're looking for, financial answers. And I'll go through that in a quick moment and really teach you what our company is all about and what we do and what Jen and Dave do with us. But Jen is a financial advisor with our firm. Transamerica is our broker dealer, and you'll hear about some of the marketing companies as well. And she is tremendous. Her and Dave put their heart into everything that they do. They really, truly want to help people out. They have tremendous resources, which you'll see in a quick moment. But bottom line is, anytime money comes up, I want you to think that they are the professionals in this industry right now that has tremendous need to educate people, tremendous need to help people get out of debt and save for their future and college education. Really, I'm piggybacking off what Lester said, but I want you to see them as these people. They've been licensed for a long time. They've got thriving practices right now. And sometimes it's hard for us. When I got into business when I was 24 years old, it took my parents 4.5 years to finally give me all of their money. I said, I think I was making over $250,000 at the time or something, or a couple $100,000. I'm running a very healthy practice. I said, Mom, Dad, who else would take better care of your money than me? And they finally did that. And I'm proud to say that about 3 years ago, my dad was able to retire because of a lot of the stuff that we were able to do for them. Right. So again, I want you to see these people, Jen and Dave, they're so incredible parents, incredible in the leadership that they have. But I want you to see them as those advisors. And the second way that I want you to see them as is people right now who are, developing a very thriving business. And we'll get into that in a second. But there are brokers in our industry, and they are looking for people. It might be you, it might not be you. This is not a join me type of business, right? You got to go through a lot of things to become a financial advisor, but they're looking for people who can have a long-term vision and who want to come into this industry and who want to build ownership and want to wake up like I did 3, 4, 5 years later and say, wow, I've got a business. And I got started off very humbly. I came into this company when I was 24 years old. I was $34,000 in debt. And my number one goal is I wanted to get out of debt. I had no clue how to do that. And I met my mentor, Hannah, who trained me. And she taught me some principles that have changed my life, financial principles. And those principles, they lighted me up so much. They got me so excited about life that I said, Hannah, how does this business work? And she trained me and she made me an advisor. And in my first year, I almost cracked a 6-figure income. I made $94,000 and some change. At the end of my second year in business, I opened my first office and then opened another one and another and another. And all of that has been by developing other brokers and other people who can go out there and actually run their own businesses. And Jen and Dave are one of them, right? They're one of the brokers that came out, one of the brokers that I was able to train, and they have just taken off. They do their own thing, and it's tremendous. So with that in mind, with that opening, I'd like to invite everyone right now to actually view this quick presentation I'm going to share with you. It's going to have a lot of information about, number one, how money works. We're going to talk a little bit about entrepreneurship as well. And I want to invite you to consider, all these things and how they can relate to you. So let's get started. So Transamerica is our broker dealer. Virtuity is our IMO, which is simply our marketing division, right? And what we're doing right now is we're revolutionizing an industry. And really our number one goal is surrounded with education and awareness. That's what we're all about. We want to educate people, as you can see here, how to build a short-term savings. Americans have been exposed. Just this past year, we realized that most Americans don't even have 2 months of their expenses saved in reserve. So we want to help people build that up. We want to help them build their long-term savings, like their kids' college plans or their retirement. That's been a challenge in American history now, right? If I went back to the year that I got started, we will pull up stats and they will look just like the stats that they are today. Most Americans save less than 1% of their gross income for any future needs. So there's a huge need to teach people how to save money for the short term, the long term. I probably don't even need to mention this, but I want to mention that we have ways to get people out of debt. I used a simple debt stacking formula and got myself out of debt within about 6 months. I paid off $34,000, right? You might have to utilize something else, but the bottom line is we teach people how to think differently about how they spend their money and the debt that they're in. We want to teach people about insurance protection. I'm glad that, the moment we went to go sit down with my family, my mom and dad, back 19 years ago when I was 24 years old, that my mentor introduced insurance to my parents and my mom got some insurance because years later, she got very sick and she passed away. And that insurance was able to pay my father out enough money to pay off any debts that there were there and to really leave him extremely comfortable, where today he gets close to $7,000 a month for doing absolutely nothing and he has no debt. And that money is just coming off of interest from his investments and the insurances. So is that an important thing? Yes, it's an important thing for everyone. And lastly, but never least, is to teach people how to preserve their estate, how to put together an estate plan, trust, wills, things of that nature. So that's what we're about. We're about education and awareness, and we want to bring this stuff to everyone. So as I go through some of these things, I want you to look at these three perspectives over here. Number one is, who do you know that can benefit more from financial education? It might be you, it might be your family, your friends, people that you know of. And again, I want you to think about some of these incredible people that invited you here today. Number two is, can this information help you out financially? Are you financially independent, or do you even know your financial independence number? And if you don't, this is something that we can help with. We can help you identify it. We won't charge you money for it, but we will get you on path where you can get to that financial independence number. And number three, are you intrigued by our business opportunity? Yes, we do have a business opportunity. No, it's not for everyone. Again, it's not a join me type of business. And the best way to explain our business opportunity is, right now, Jen and Dave are brokers in our industry, very similar to what a real estate broker is. Real estate brokers, like a RE/MAX, they typically go out there and they recruit people to come into the real estate industry. They're responsible to help them get licensed, to train them so they can transact in real estate. And the broker has an incentive. Every time the agent makes a sale, they sell a house or list a house and sell it for somebody, the broker also gets paid. Well, we work in a very similar way. Unlike real estate, allow our associates, our agents, to become brokers also. And we have an incentive to help them get to that position where, again, in real estate, they don't want you to become brokers. So again, are you intrigued by our business opportunity? And we'll go through that right at the end. But let's really nail down and start with understanding who we are as a company. And our mission is really to help people from all walks of life have a better future. Specifically, middle-income families, because today, those families are an underserved market. If you today have less than $1 million, look, if you are like Omar Periu today, and you've got more than $100 million, you've got people that are calling you every day that are after you, trying to get you to invest with them, and they'll make you promises and guarantees. But if you're that person that has less than $1 million or $500,000, nobody wants to work with you today. One of the first things that makes us extremely unique is we work with everyone, and we bring some very high-end stuff that has only been available to the rich and wealthy. We bring it to regular people. Lester was able to do that with the Baileys. I was able to do that with all of my clients, even with my parents. I was able to bring the best of the best to them so they can have the option and the opportunity to retire. So again, that's one of the first things that makes us unique, and that's our mission. Next thing is understanding the shift in the personal responsibility. See, many, many years ago, there used to be a thing called a three-legged stool. And if we look at it over here, it included that when you worked for a company for 30 years, after that, that company would have a pension that they saved for you that would take care of you over the next 30 years. Pensions are gone, non-existent. Less than 3% of Americans have a pension today, right? Then there was a thing called Social Security. Well, okay, it still exists today, yes. But today's Social Security, if you just Google it and ask for some stats, you will see some terrible things, that it's running out of money, not enough money going into it. It's said by 2034 now that the fund will be exhausted. That 2034 is not very far away. People like myself and Generation X or younger are not counting on Social Security. So this three-legged stool now has turned into a one-legged stool, meaning that it's all about you saving your own money. Again, back in the day, between your pensions and your Social Security, you would have to save very, very little money in order to comfortably be able to retire. That is gone. Today, if you don't save your own money, if you don't create your own personal retirement, you probably won't retire, or you'll retire very, very late in life. Doesn't sound very exciting. So how do we address this? We address it by understanding how people spend their money. And if you look on the right-hand side over here, we see today that most people spend half of their income on living expenses. I call it avocado toast and Grubhub today. Those are the two main things that are just eating up people's money, right? Especially through COVID, I started to look at my clients' numbers, and I said, what is this Grubhub thing? You're paying 2 to 3 times what something actually costs, just so you don't have to get out of the house. Drive down the street, go pick up your food. There's no traffic anymore, right? Anyways, you get the point. Americans are spending about a quarter of their money on taxes and a quarter on debt. What we do in a nutshell, one of the first solutions that we have is we teach people how to spend less on taxes, and we take a little sliver off the top. We teach them how to restructure their debt and pay it off faster, and we take a little sliver off the top here, and we open up this gap of money. See, historically, today, Americans are saving this little white line, which is about 1% of their gross income. And yes, my opinion is that it's gross, right? We got to save more of our income. That's the bottom line. So by shaving a little off the top on taxes and debt, we just open up a little gap of money that now can allow us to have them save more money. Now, we don't look at the expenses initially, but as we get them excited and we get them in the habit of saving that little money, we're hoping that they will choose on their own to create a budget and to cut out some of these wants that they have and only go for the needs, so they can accelerate their debt paying, so they can accelerate their wealth building and get to a better place financially in life, as I've gotten to, and the Baileys. I'm so proud of the Baileys because, many years ago when I met them, I think it's been 8-10 years or something crazy like that, they were in over $60,000 worth of debt. I'm going to say that again. David was one of those guys that just loved to go out there and try all this stuff, and he tried some real estate stuff. I think that was over $35,000 mistake, but we won't talk about that. But I'm just proud to say that today they're on track to cracking over $500,000 in savings. Now, don't ask them for loans. They're a registered representative. They're advisors based on FINRA and the SEC rules. They can't loan you any money. But I want you to know the kind of caliber of people you have. They're not just telling you to go out there and save your own money, right? They're doing the stuff themselves. And I hope I didn't embarrass you, Jen, but they're doing incredible things, and I'm very proud of them. Here's one of the other things that makes us very unique as a company. See, most companies represent the company. If you work for a State Farm, you can only represent State Farm. Don't believe it when they tell you they can represent something else. And I'm not picking on them. I'm just saying that generally. But look, from college plans, from some of the biggest money managers in the world, American Fund and Franklin Templeton, there are over 20 companies just here, to mutual funds from BlackRock and Invesco and Transamerica and PIMCO. And again, we've got over 50 companies here, right? To our advisory platform. We're fiduciaries, of course, right? To the annuities that we have, over 200 different insurance companies, to different 401k plans with Voya and Nationwide, to life insurance, to Medicare and supplements, to both auto and home insurance, to long-term care, and also estate planning. I mean, that's insane. We represent, in a nutshell, about 2,000 of the biggest money managers, more than 200 of the biggest insurance companies. So our number one goal now is to help you, not to represent a company. Company products come and go, so we want to help you And we want to make sure that your life is on track financially to hitting the goals and the dreams that you have. Again, so that's another thing that makes us extremely unique as a company. Here's some education for you. Will you take notes on this? This is absolutely incredible. This is called the Rule of 72. It was actually, it was invented sometime in Greek math times by a gentleman named Piccola. I can't even pronounce his name. It was popularized by Albert Einstein. And it's this, Albert Einstein called this the eighth wonder of the world because it is such a simple formula. Had I learned this formula back when I was 18 years old, when I first walked on college campus, I would not have picked up a credit card. And the first question I would have had was, oh, can I get this magnet or that t-shirt? I would have said, what is the interest rate on this credit card? And the moment I would have received that answer, I would have said, no, thank you. You keep your magnet and your t-shirt. I'm not interested in any of that stuff. By the way, that's what got me to be $34,000 in debt by the time I was 24 years old. Rule of 72, this is how it works. Imagine you're 29 years old. Anthony, I'm going to use a little bit of your stuff. Imagine, right? Imagine you're 29 years old and you got $10,000 and you put it in the bank. And let's just pretend the bank is going to pay you a 1% rate of return, because today they don't. They pay much less. All you have to do, here's a formula. By the way, my 6-year-old knows how to do this math, so don't be afraid of numbers, all right? Take the number 72 and divide it by the interest rate that you're earning. 72 divided by 1, and that gives you the number of years it takes your money to double. So in this case, 72. 72 divided by 1 is 72. That means when you're 29 and you have $10,000, 72 years later, when you're 101, your 10 grows to 20. Yes, everyone, it grew to 20. Now look, I don't know what's worse, is that you have 20 grand or that you're 101 years old. But the idea is that I can't imagine anyone being excited about seeing their money grow this way. So why do so many people put their money at the bank? I'll answer that question for you. It's simple. They've never learned the rule of 72. If they had, they would never put the money in an account that grows like this, ever. And you wouldn't either. So what's the solution? Where else can we put our money? Well, we can put our money with money managers. Historically, they've earned much more than a 10% rate of return. If we look at this column over here, much more than a 10% rate of return. We're going to use 10. 72 divided by 10, money here doubles every 7.2 years. Are you noticing how simple this stuff is? I mean, you can literally do this math in your head, and if it's hard, you can plug it into your smartphone. At a same 29-year-old, send $10,000. Money here doubles every 7.2 years. So in this example, by the time this person is 72 years old, they have 640,000, and that's 30 years ahead of this money growing to 20. That is insane. Absolutely insane. So we want to teach you not just how to take that sliver of money and start investing it. We want to teach you how to grow it in a place where it can really grow. Where does this work against you? In debt. You've said it right. In debt. Average credit card today, close to 20% interest rate. Does it work the same way, Rudy? Yes. That's why if you make the minimum payment on your credit card, it'll say that it'll take you an average of 30 years to pay off that debt. And you don't pay what you started with, you pay a whole lot more. So when I realized this rule 19 years ago, I'm sitting in a conference room. I looked at my mentor, Hannah, and I said, Hannah, so you're telling me that all I got to do is take all my debt, put it on really low interest rates and eradicate it, and any investments and savings that I have, take it into money managers and have that money grow at these rates of return? She said, you figured it out. I said, wow, that really wasn't that hard. I could have probably figured out when I was 18 or 22 or 16, but I wasn't taught this. This is one of the first things we want to teach people. It's powerful, the most powerful thing I've ever seen, and it's extremely informative, and anyone can understand it. Look, you can invest in many different ways. You can put your money in a fixed account, very similar to, right, a bank account, right? They give you a guarantee that your money will never really grow. That's a guarantee that they give you. Or you can put your money in the stock market that goes up and down, but today you have indexed linked accounts that are linked to the stock market. So how does that work? Imagine if you can follow the S&P 500 or the Dow Jones, whatever index is available, right? And as your money grows, you automatically get locked in. But if your money crashes, you never participate in the crash. You just stay flat until the next time the money grows. I put my parents in something like this back in 2006. And by 2008, as their money grew, they were excited, but they were even more excited in 2009 when the market crashed that their money never went down. My mom couldn't believe it initially, and I had to remind her why she got that account. These things have been around for roughly 15 years now. I'm not kidding you. Rich know about them. A lot of other people have never heard about them. We want to bring this to everyone. One of our passions, the education. And the last thing that we're going to talk about money is you can do it all right. You can save your money. You can earn high rates of return. You can manage your risk in the most perfect way. But if you don't understand how your favorite uncle, yes, your favorite uncle, Uncle Sam, is going to tax your money, that's probably where you're going to lose most of it. So you've got 3 tax treatments: taxable accounts, tax deferred, and tax advantaged accounts. I'm going to share with you briefly how they all work. Taxable accounts, they're fantastic. Why? Because your money is liquid. So you can use it whenever you want. You don't have to wait till retirement age, which today is 59 and a half years old, before you can touch your retirement accounts. What's bad about them? See, when you earn your money, you have to pay a tax. It's called income tax, right? Some of you, if you're an employee, you get your gross income, but you don't get the gross income. It's gross. You get the net, right? After Uncle Sam, and they don't even, I mean, most of us today, most of you, if you're an employee, you don't even see your paycheck. You just see a direct deposit, and that's what you get used to. So you've just been taxed, income tax, federal and state. If you invest in this category, you open up a brokerage account. If you open up any type of account like stocks, brokerage account, even a bank account, anytime you make more than $10 a year, you have to pay a new tax. It's called capital gains. And today it starts at 15% a year, and you have to pay it every year. And they're just introducing legislation to make it part of your, that's right, your regular income tax, which could double it at minimum. So you consider that for a second. So this is very bad. That means that your money, as it's growing, 15 to 30% of it could be taken away from you on a yearly basis. That's not very good. So you want to do some of this for your emergency fund. If you want to buy a house, we can help you build money here so you can have a big down payment, but you don't want to do a lot of it, and you don't want to do it really, really long term. That's the idea. Let's jump to the next category, tax deferred account. This is where your retirement plans live, right? If you've had a 401k or an IRA or a TSA account or any type of pension, this is where they live, in a tax deferred environment, meaning that when you put money in your 401k, money comes out of your gross income. It's never been taxed. As the money grows, you do not have to pay those capital gain taxes. But when do you have to pay the taxes? When you take it out after 59 and a half years old. So what would you rather pay taxes on, the seed that you plant or the crop? The idea is, I'm going to give you the answer. If you can pay taxes on the seed on the front end and avoid paying the taxes on the crop, that would be extremely ideal. But the tax deferred account works the exact opposite way. You pay no taxes on the seed, you pay all the taxes on the crop. This could become one of your worst tax traps. And that's why you want to get together with us and find out, exactly, are you utilizing these things correctly? When do we recommend this? If your 401k is matching, if you put in $100 and they give you a free $100, boy, we want you to take advantage of that. But we don't want you to what? We don't want you to put in more than the match. And the last one is a tax advantage. You've heard of these too. Roth IRAs, a Roth 401k, municipal bonds. These are all tax advantage accounts. You pay taxes in the front end and you never pay taxes again. And one of my favorites is the tax accumulation that grows inside of a life insurance contract. If those are set properly, you will never have to pay taxes, and you can use the money before 59 and a half years old most of the time. So again, you want to find out exactly how you're utilizing your money. Now imagine this. Imagine if you understood how to set your retirement from the right amount of money to save, to the right amount of growth, to the best risk management, to the best tax strategy. Would your life look much better? Would you have more hope? And would you be more excited about your life? Absolutely. Let's close out with our business opportunity. Here's our second passion. Our second passion is to teach people how to become entrepreneurs. And here are the 5 reasons that people don't want to start a business today. It costs a lot of money, takes a lot of time, knowledge and expertise. People don't understand the need in their industry, and they just don't want to take risk today. And we understand that. So seemingly, it's easier to become an employee. So how does it all really work? This is the last major concept I'll teach you today. Well, in the United States today, you can be an employee where you have a job, and there are pluses and minuses, but the idea is that there's some limitations there in income earning potential. Secondly, you become self-employed where you own a job. You're kind of responsible for 6, 7, 8 different, duties, so to say, in order to earn your money. Here's the reality. Most Americans, this is the way that they earn their money, and about 90% of them. And the reality is that it's hard to become wealthy earning your money this way. It's possible, but you'd have to save 30+% of your gross income. Most people aren't willing or wanting to do that. So what's the flip side to this? On the top right, as you can see here, it's called business ownership, or you own a system. I'll give you a couple of simple examples. If we drive by a McDonald's today, here in Colorado, there in California, New York, wherever you're from right now, do you think we'll see the owner flipping burgers in the back? I'll answer that for you. No, we won't. If we order a package from Amazon today, and gosh knows we do that every day, right? It's like Christmas every day. We don't think that Jeff Bezos is packing up our packages, right? That would be ludicrous. Business ownership is where you own a system that runs the business, and you can go focus on something else. You can go focus on your family, on your faith, or you can open up another business, but that business is creating an income for you. And then once you do this for a long time, business owners typically become extremely wealthy, and they become long-term investors and savers, and now your money is working for you again. Very few Americans earn their income this way. The number one reason for our system, for our platform to exist, is to teach you how to become a business owner, where you have a business that works whether you do or not. I know that I don't have to work very hard these days, to make $250,000, $300,000+ a year. Heck, if I didn't work at all, my income would continuously come in and probably grow. Why is that? Because I've built a business. I built a very big agency, and people work because they have their own dreams and goals, whether I work or not. So as we look at a system, right, the power of a system is in its simplicity, right, where no experience is necessary. I came from the hospitality industry, right? Jen was an HR. David was a teacher, right? Lester was studying to become an engineer. His wife, Kirsten, was a social worker, right? This is Hannah, my mentor. Don't cry for her. She makes about $1 million a year. She came from real estate, right? Her mentor, Ed Milet, he is a social media sensation, worth more than $500 million. He runs a business just like I do, and that's where he made most of his money. He used to be a youth counselor. He started in our business when he was 21 years old. Myself and my wife was a nonprofit. I was in hospitality. Hannah trained us. Hannah also trained this handsome gentleman over here. His name is Marshall Faulk, Hall of Famer Marshall Faulk. Yes, football player. And he initially wanted to come on board with our platform because he wanted to help football players not retire broke. I know, it sounds insane, right? And now he just wants to help everyone out. And I trained Lester and Kirsten over here, and you heard from Lester earlier. They actually just crossed over $500,000. Lester was training to be an engineer, and Kirsten was a social worker. Together, they didn't even earn $100,000 a year previously. Now they're just doing a little better than that. You get the point. Look, people from all backgrounds, all walks of life, we don't care if you're a man or a woman or what color you are or what creed you are. You know what we care about? We care about your integrity. We care about your strength. We care about, do you want to help people out, right? And when you do good things come to you, like our powerful compensation. So for example, if you're an associate with us, and again, you got to qualify for this, you got to pass background checks, Department of Justice, FBI, all that kind of fun stuff. If you're an associate with us and you help out one family a week, save $185 a month. So you're helping out 4 families on a monthly basis. You'll make almost an extra $50,000 a year. What would an extra $50,000 a year mean to a bunch of you here? What would that mean? Could you pay off your house faster, jumpstart your career, your retirement? Consider that for a second. Imagine that. Become a senior marketing director with us. Our promotions are clearly stated. You hit them, you get them. No one can hold you back. This is not corporate America. By the way, do both of these, do them part-time, right? You can do this part-time, which is another thing that's extremely unique about our company. You can become a full-fledged financial advisor and you can be part-time. No other company today will allow you to do that. So imagine this, you're a senior marketing director, you're a broker. Now you're doing the same thing, helping these 4 families a month. You're making an extra $85,000 a year on top of your full-time job. What would your life look like? Could you save your first $500,000 pretty quickly? I say you could. And then you could fire your boss and go full-time if you wanted to win that extra time. But look, become a senior marketing director and develop your own agency. And let's just say you have 5 people in your agency. You're responsible for training them, to inspire them. And each one of those 5 people go out and they help 1 family a week save $185 a month. You're making close to $200,000 a year. And if you help 4 families and your 5 associates help 4 families each, you're making close to $300,000 a year. Look, simple compensation plan here. We as a company have developed the most 6- and 7-figure income earners in the industry, which, by the way, is the biggest industry in the world today. Consider that for a moment, would you? Look, timing is everything. Biggest generation, the second biggest generation, the baby boomers right now, have gone through so much in their life. But today, every day, 11,000, close to 11,000 people are turning 65 years old. And guess what? They're thinking about one thing, and that is retirement. Unfortunately, they don't have millions of dollars. They actually have way less than $250,000 to be exact with you. And no one is willing to help them. We're helping a ton of them. We're helping them all over the place. Also, they're looking for what is called an encore career, something they can do that is easy and simple. With technology today, I do appointments all over the United States. In the last 3 weeks, I've been from coast to coast and everywhere in between. We are not bound by geography. We can extend our licenses anywhere and help anyone through the power of Zoom, and I've not left my city, let alone my state. So baby boomers born between 1946 and 1964, 80 million of them, they need your help. Look at Generation X and Y behind them. Another 200 plus million people definitely need our help. We want to help these people out. And there's not enough of us, less than 300,000 financial advisors in the United States in comparison to more than 2.2 million licensed real estate agents. Everyone on this call probably knows 1 or 2 or 3 real estate agents. Not a lot of people have access to an advisor with the type of platform and tools like myself and Jen and Dave. So look, we're looking for good people because we have strong core values: personal growth, family, strength of character, recognition, teamwork, all resemble who we are and what we're looking for. And we're looking to see how we treat people. That's one of the main things. We want to see how you treat other people, and that tells us a lot about you. In closing, we're about faith, family, and business. We're very big in philanthropy. We support the All for One Foundation and the WFG Foundation. This is definitely something you can be extremely proud of. We've done some incredible things. I've traveled the world. Here we are at our last Hawaii trip, and we're just getting ready to go to Hawaii again in October. And we've just had an incredible time with this company because we know how to play hard, we know how to work hard, we know how to give back. So as we open, I want to close. Who do you know that can benefit from some more financial education? Could this information help you and your family? And bottom line, are you intrigued enough by this business where you want to get together with one of us and see if this is something that you can qualify for? So with that, I want to draw your attention to kind of the lowest denominator here, and that is, regardless of what you got or didn't get today, I want to encourage you to get together with Jen and with all of these great people that brought you here today, and at least do your financial needs analysis, at least go through that process. And if there is an interest on the business side, let us know. But more importantly, if you know someone that is entrepreneurial, that is stuck, give us an opportunity to share the same information with them, just as we did with you. And in closing, I just want to say a couple more things about, this incredible group here. I am so proud of Jen and Dave. They're beautiful children. Who they are as human beings and parents, and what they bring, not just to the community, but just everywhere they go. They just make it better. They really make it better. Jen has got a heart of gold, and Dave is just so fun. Dave and I go snowboarding all the time, and he'll tell you that he's faster, but it's very clear if you just see one video who is faster on the snow. But I'm a little bigger guy, so I just, gravity is on my side. But I love these two. They're literally some of my best friends, not in business, in life. And I just love being around them. And you will feel the same way because they will treat you and take care of you in the exact same manner. So with that, Jen, I'd like to pass it back to you.
Thank you so much, Rudy. That was pretty incredible. I think most of us will
Jen, I
agree
think you're
with that.
muted.
That was a ton of value, ton of
Jen, you're
nuggets
muted.
there. I'm sorry?
We can't hear you, Jen.
Oh, you can't hear me. You hear me now?
Yeah, you're good.
You're good. Okay, I'm good. Okay.
Can anyone else hear Jen, or is it just
for
me?
a second. Okay, well, thank you so much, Rudy. We always appreciate your time and your graciousness and your generosity for always helping us out and for being there for us. But I'm going to end here because you're here today. I want to point out a couple of things to you. Number one, we are a recession-proof business. So we shot a link out in the chat box, and I'm going to do it one more time. We do want your feedback. So number one is we are a recession-proof business. If you're like me and are interested in a part-time or full-time opportunity, please indicate that on the form. Number two, if you're interested in the complimentary financial needs analysis, want to review what you currently have, or you just don't know where to start, please indicate that on that form as well. If you know anyone, a friend, a family, anyone in the community that needs our help financially or might be interested in our opportunity, please indicate any referrals you have there as well. We want to thank you so much for joining us today, and we encourage you to take action now. Take action now. Now is the time. We're here to serve you and to help you and to really reach into the community today. So please take time to fill out the form. I'm going to shoot it in one more time. And we're going to shoot out the ebook as well from Mr. Omar Periu. So please grab that.